Hello and welcome to Fermari 411 News Flash. Per an article in USA Today, the construction of an American house embodies the spirit of the nation's workers and the dreams of its citizens. It's also perhaps the least efficient endeavor in the U.S. economy. Dozens of workers turn a plot of land into a small factory, sawing wood, nailing it together, cutting holes for windows, running wires and pipes and installing drywall and other finishes. 4 months or so later, voila, a home for generations of families. Now, a worsening construction worker shortage that has driven up home prices is beginning to turn that routine, largely unchanged over the past century, on its head. At a sprawling factory owned by Blueprint Robotics on the industrial outskirts of Baltimore, a house frame, complete with windows, plumbing, insulation and electrical wires, is chiseled in large panels by computerized machines in about a day. The pieces of walls, floors and roof are then trucked to the construction site to be assembled in several more days, although drywall and other features must still be added. The process, which has been used in Europe for decades, can shave the time to build a house by as much as half. A new generation of prefabricated housing that bears little resemblance to the modular homes of old is among several technologies home builders are embracing to cope with the worker shortage. They're also starting to deploy bricklaying robots and software programs that allow them to avoid miscommunication and delays. We're at a tipping point where it's finally just gotten too expensive to build the old-fashioned way, says Margaret Whalen, CEO of Whalen Advisory and an investment banker for the home building industry. Many construction workers left the field during the housing crash. Baby boomers are retiring in droves. Immigrant workers face new government crackdowns, and few high school graduates are choosing a career of backbreaking labor. Last year, at least half of home builders reported a serious shortage of framing crews, carpenters, bricklayers and other tradespeople. According to a survey by the National Association of Home Builders, the worker deficit is a big reason NAHB counted a 4-month supply of existing homes in April, below a balanced 6-month inventory. The limited stock is crimping home sales and has helped drive up national home prices nearly 50% since 2012. According to the S&P CoreLogic Case-Shiller Index, emerging strategies already seem to be paying off, at least to some extent. Despite the labor crunch, 910,000 single-family homes are expected to be built this year, up from 851,000 in 2017, NAHB says. Yet there's demand for 1.3 million, says Robert Dietz, the association's chief economist. While hundreds of factory-built homes have been put up the past couple of years, up to 20% of houses could be prefabricated in 5 years, says Stephen Kim, a senior housing analyst for Evercore IC, a research firm. And factory workers earn 30 to 50% less than construction craftspeople, he says. I think this will be a significant change in the way houses are built, he says. The industry is due for a fresh approach. While U.S. productivity, or output per labor hour, rose an average 1.76% a year from 1995 to 2015, productivity in construction declined an average 1.04% during that period, according to an Evercore analysis of government and McKinsey Global Institute figures. Contractors are vulnerable to weather, human error and the missteps that result when dozens of unrelated subcontractors join forces to cobble together a home. The factory-based builders aren't producing the kind of modular houses that have been around for decades. Three-dimensional chunks of finished home pieces that are shipped to building sites in limited varieties. The new manufacturers, who serve as suppliers to traditional builders, make flat panels and can churn out any blueprint the builder requests, building a frame in a day. At Blueprint Robotics, about 30 software engineers and architects convert builders' plans into programs that computerized machines follow. The machines, robots essentially, cut wood to length, Form holes and grooves for electric sockets and wiring. Nail the wall studs together at precise intervals, then add bigger holes for windows and doors, along with particle board-like sheathing. Tasks that could take traditional workers an hour or more are completed in minutes. The factory crackles with the familiar sound of sawing, hammering and drilling, but it's mostly machines making them. About 35 workers are scattered throughout the 200,000 square foot plant to assist, starting up machines and loading panels. Machines tilt walls upright and move them on a conveyor to stations where workers briskly add wiring, pipes and windows. A robot shoots insulation into the spaces between studs. A similar process cranks out floors. A walk through the factory is like watching a house being built horizontally, with wood facades lined up in neat rows at the end. At the construction site, it takes about a week for a crane and 7 blueprint workers to lift the panels into place and bind the frame together so the home builder can complete the house. The home builder then takes over, finishing the house the usual way by adding features such as drywall, kitchen counters and carpet. Of the on-site improvisational method that still dominates home construction, Blueprint CEO Jerry Smalley says, "Would you have your car built that way?" New Jersey custom home builder Robert Kijden recently hired Blueprint to help put up a 2,700 square foot house in Margate. He says it normally takes his subcontractors up to 6 weeks to construct the shell that Blueprint turns out in 8 days. After factoring in weather and other delays, he estimates the house will be completed in 3 months instead of the usual 6, although Kijden says he's paying about 15% more for that shell. He'll offset the cost by selling the house more quickly, improving his cash flow and saving on property taxes and interest. More important, he says, it frees me up to build other homes. Entacra, based in Ripon, California, uses a similar computerized factory to stitch together a house frame but doesn't add a plumbing, wiring and insulation. But because machines, unlike workers, trim walls and floors to exact lengths, cabinets and other fixtures can be crafted before the house frame is done, slicing building time by a month in total. CEO Gerard McCoffey estimates, robots don't have a bad day, they don't have a hangover. Entacra, which can build 500 house frames a year, is targeting large volume builders and plans 2 more California factories by 2020 that can produce 6,000 frames annually. Thank you for watching. Stay up to date with real estate news by subscribing to our channel. Interested in viewing some of Palm Beach County, Florida best real estate properties? Visit us at www.fermari.com. Thank you.